So strange being here. So strange. So much has changed. This world, you, me. And you are still on my mind. You're still in my heart. But I'm starting to realize, I'm starting to catch up that I can't keep you still. Because you're moving, just like the setting sun. You're moving further and further away from me. Or are we? Time is circular, so see you on the other side, I guess. So this video is going to be a little bit out of the box for those who know me, because it's not taking place in my home country as usual. And saying that actually makes me realize how long it's been since I last went on vacation. So for those of you who stumbled upon this video, this is not a traveling vlog. I'm simply reflecting on my last week and how it felt being in Egypt. In Luxor, to be exact. I traveled there with my 7-year-old son and my 8-year-old mom, and I'm telling you, being in Egypt as a single mother without a husband is very interesting.
Come, I see the animal here if you need.
But I really need to get the car. But more about that later. It was actually my mom's dream to return to Egypt, especially Luxor. Because the last time she was there, she was 23 years old, traveling with my sister when she was still little. And my sister is no longer in this world since last year, but she was with us in spirit, in her own way. Being in a place that felt strangely familiar and yet completely foreign, it was exactly what I needed. It really helped me to reflect on things I've been carrying for a while. And somehow it also helped me unwind. And that's something I really didn't expect. And to be honest, being in Egypt as a non-binary person who is perceived as female felt almost like being in a movie. And at times I felt like a stranger in my own skin, but I also met such interesting and heartwarming people who were born and raised in Egypt and in Luxor. And we had conversations about the meaning of life, about God, about love, because that's what I believe in. And somehow these 7 days really managed to surprise me. I learned things I didn't expect, and I'm deeply grateful for that. So I just came back from Egypt, Luxor, yesterday, and I'm back now in good old, cold old Germany, and made myself a hot water bottle. I will also miss the friendliness and the warm-heartedness of the Egypt people.
We're not Egypt, we're German. we have no Ramses. Shukran katir. Shukran katir. We're trying.
I'm telling you, Egypt was crazy. It was beautiful. As always, there are always two sides to everything. And as much as I love, the energy of the people, like the essence You know, this friendliness, the hospitality, the warm-heartedness. As much as I love that, I can tell you, the rules, the human-made rules in the name of God or Allah. Well, I'd have to make a whole other video for that, I'm realizing right now. I was very lucky to meet people there that I was able to talk with about, my God, what's happening? I'm very lucky that I met people there that talked to me about these topics. And I was able to talk with them about those topics. So now I'm back. Okay. And I just got perspectives and insights that I didn't have before. And I'm very grateful for that. I usually don't do trips to countries that are so far away. Actually, my last trip to a different country is very long ago. And I also feel like this is kind of my first real vacation since my son was born. I have to tell you, like the first vacation that felt kind of relaxing, even though I was there with my 7-year-old son, my 80-year-old mom, and there was obviously always something to be taken care of. But I also, for the first time in ages, experienced what it feels like when I'm being taken care of. And that was pretty amazing. So I'm just not used to that anymore. I mean, I'm single, I'm a single mother. And I can remember last time, I think it was a friend was asking me, but who's taking care of you? That was so sweet. And I said, I'm taking care of myself. So, but sometimes it really feels good when there are people that are just cooking for you and tidying up your room. So that was pretty amazing. And yeah, but that being said, going to Egypt without a husband, as a single mother that is perceived as a female with a little son and an 80-year-old mom, yeah, it has its advantages and disadvantages, let's put it this way. Where is your husband? Where is his father? Where is this daddy? Where is your husband? Well, he's in Germany. It's all good. Well, at the end, I learned that I shouldn't say that we're separated. Why? Why is a woman alone? Oh, you don't. As a woman, you need a husband. You need to go on a honeymoon. Da 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 da. So that was kind of yeah, the story I heard over and over again. But one time it was very cute. There was this lady at this shop in the hotel that was kind of bargaining with this guy, the shop owner. Miri was her name. And she was like, kind of, when I said, well, I'm single and I'm happy, she was like, good girl, that's how we do it, yay. As I said, it was a pretty amazing vacation. It made me think about lots of things, about my life, about my... Yeah, I talked about that in my last video, how much my life has changed, how little I'm actually used to being single, because I'm someone who really craves connection with other people. And I'm very glad that I have lots of friends, but most of them are not living near to me, so I'm always talking to them on the phone or exchanging voicemails. But it's a little bit unusual for me to be back and to feel kind of so alone again. For those of you who don't know, Luxor is located directly at the Nile River, and originally my mom wanted to book a cruise with a ship on the Nile River because she has done that once with my dad. But then she decided differently, because she said, like, on these boats, probably all of them use this motor oil that really smells badly, and that's why she booked this beautiful kind of condo for us on this little island at the Nile River directly, which was absolutely amazing because my son could just walk freely. It was so safe. He really enjoyed going to the zoo there. There was like a little zoo for children, and he rode on a camel and was playing like with little goats and bunnies, and so that was pretty amazing. And I was just happy that he was relaxed and my mom was relaxed, and we were having a beautiful time there. As a single mom, you're just used to adapting your needs to other people. That's just how it is. So
The coffee shop where everyone. Okay. Number 3, the bakery, everywhere. And the supermarket.
for example, on the first day we rode through the city center of Luxor in a horse carriage, and it was very overwhelming for my son, understandably, because he's simply not used to all the sounds and smells. Yeah, and it was also the first time I really realized that it might be better to explore Luxor with a tour guide, especially as someone who is perceived as a woman. I tried it a few times later during our trip, and each time I found it a little bit uncomfortable because I felt, a bit exposed in a way I hadn't expected. You know, most women in Luxor are veiled, and I obviously was not. People are used to tourists, but you can still feel that there is a clear separation between genders, and that's something I personally find rather uncomfortable. But this has nothing to do with the people themselves. And as I said, I was met with so much kindness and goodwill from men as well. And I think it has more to do with a system shaped by human-made rules and structures, patriarchy and social norms that can be quite restrictive and controlling. And in my view, these structures can influence the way people relate to one another, including how some men behave towards women. But this is not something unique to one place. It's a global issue. It may be more visible or pronounced in cultures where patriarchal structures are more deeply rooted, but it's something we are just as familiar with in the Western world. And you know, no country, no nation is a monolith. It's made up of individuals, of people with their own thoughts, their own values, their own struggles, many of whom don't agree with the system they live in. I talk to people like these, people that are in fact affected or limited or endangered by the system. And you know, while I'm speaking about my personal experience, I'm trying to always separate structures, systems from people, because otherwise we risk turning lived experience into something that fuels division instead of understanding. And I think that's a very dangerous path to go down. You know, the reason why I find a strict division between genders difficult is because, to me, nothing in nature is truly static. Everything is in motion, everything is fluid, and I believe that diversity is essential, almost like the foundation of a healthy immune system, not just on a biological level within us as individuals, but also on a collective level as a society. Because when diversity is suppressed, when everything is pushed into a kind of monoculture, into rigid, monolithic structures, something starts to break down, and in many ways, I feel like this is exactly what we're experiencing collectively. I believe that both feminine and masculine qualities exist within every living being, and being categorized as a man doesn't mean you can't be soft or gentle or expressive. But I feel like this is often where the problem begins. For example, when boys are punished for being sensitive or for wanting to play with dolls, just to name something simple, it creates shame. And that shame can turn into fear and sometimes even into forms of violence later on. To me, both energies, the feminine and the masculine, are deeply valuable, and each person or each living being carries and expresses them in their own unique way. And restricting that expression, it comes at a cost. You only have to look around the world to see where these kinds of rigid beliefs and rules can lead us.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi. Ana Aquesa.
What?
Ana Aquesa?
Koisa.
Yeah, Aquesa. Shukran.
Welcome.
How are you? Amel A?
عامل ايه؟
Amel A?
Yeah, good, but
Good?
yeah, yes, this good.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I learned yesterday.
هو come from
Germany.
Germany.
Yes.
Yeah, you good?
Yes, oh, perfect. Wonderful. Filming the moon.
Yeah.
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 Bye.
Bye.
So it's 7 a.m. in the morning in Luxor, Egypt, and I'm just so happy right now. Can't even tell you. Sometimes a change of scenery can work such wonders when you're stuck. But not all of us can afford that. So, me actually neither, but here's this cute cat with these green eyes. So pretty. But right now I'm just so excited for everything that's to come. And a dear friend of mine always used to say, let life surprise you once again. And that's what I did. And I can assure you, when you least expect it in life, life will surprise you once again. In the most unexpected ways. So I hope you are all well, and I can send you some sunny greetings from here. When we arrived, it was actually raining. It was one of the few days in Egypt or Luxor where it rains. So that's when we arrived. But right now the sun is shining. Oh. I met one person that told me a little bit about the rules and the laws and all of that, and how it affects your real life, especially as a young unmarried person. So, and but they know serious, like Shameless and stuff. And I always wonder, what do they think about something like that? It must be the total sin, but obviously not. I don't know. One day when I went to the gym, I actually met someone local from Luxor, a student, and they invited me to have a tea just outside the hotel. And we ended up having a really meaningful conversation. They shared how these strict rules affect them as a young person, and how as a child they were punished for being too soft and too sensitive for a boy. And that was really heartbreaking to hear. And at some point they asked me if I believe in God, and I told them that I don't believe in one specific version of God, but I do believe in love, and I believe in tolerance, and I believe in inclusivity and in diversity. So for me, anything that is rooted in love, whether you call it Allah or Jesus or something else, that's something I believe in. And what I struggle with is human-made systems and rules that try to control people through fear or punishment, because to me that leads to division and not to connection. And I said that I don't think this is what God or Allah would want, and they completely agreed. Yeah, it was a really beautiful encounter, one that stayed with me, and at the same time that evening also held like a different kind of experience. On my way back to the hotel, I felt a bit unsafe again. There was like this one man who was quite insistent, and it made me really uncomfortable because he wanted to invite me into his house over and over again and just pushed a tea into my hand, and I actually declined, but he just pushed it into my hand, and I, didn't want to upset him.
Come, I see the animal here if you need.
But I really need to get the car. I don't know. Luckily, then my taxi arrived, and I just could kind of slide out of the situation. But I'm noticing this tension in myself because I naturally move through the world in a very open and friendly way. But sometimes that openness is really misunderstood. But still, I don't want to change that about myself. I don't want to close my heart. And I always want to choose love over fear. What's your name?
Muhammad.
Hi, Mohammed. I'm Nastya.
Welcome.
Well, what do you
Welcome
say?
to Egypt.
Ahlan wa sahlan?
Ahlan wa sahlan.
Yes? Okay.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay. Enjoyed here in the hotel?
Oh, I love it. It's so
First
beautiful.
time here?
First time in Luxor. Yeah. Yeah.
Last time?
What? Say it again?
Last time?
No. No, there will be
Yeah.
several more times.
Yeah. How
Definitely.
many days here?
Till Thursday. 4 more days. Four more.
4 more days?
Yeah, 4 more days.
Very good.
Yeah, I love
About-
it. Yeah, it's so
You
beautiful.
go to tours?
Yeah, we have like our.
Karnak?
Yeah, we already
Temple,
had.
Luxor,
Yeah, everything.
Museum?
Yeah,
Good, huh?
yeah. My son, he's
Yes.
6 years old.
Oh.
He loves. He's 7 now. He's a
Yeah.
big fan of Egypt,
Yeah.
and so he wants to see everything. He knows all the Egyptian gods and pharaohs, and he knew them already when he was 3 years old. So it's like, for him, it's like a big dream, and for me too. And yeah, so beautiful. Such a beautiful culture you have.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice
So much.
evening.
You too.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Good night.
You too. Sometimes I feel like there are these two fundamental energies moving through the world, one called love and one called fear. And they are like rivers, each with their own current, their own pull, their own branches. And some of these branches can look like strength on the surface, but when you look closer, they're actually rooted in fear, like the excessive need to control everything. To me, that's not real strength. It's a current that ultimately leads you back to fear and away from love, away from authenticity, away from that deeper essence, that source that connects all of us. And I think we can feel it in small ways when something closes us, contracts us, separates us. But I also believe that we have a choice, again and again in the smallest moments, which current we follow, which river we step into, and even if fear can feel loud and convincing and powerful at times, I truly believe that love is the deeper current.